lie. I have no motive. I have no motive to lie.
No, I'm just saying.
What did I get? What's up, you guys? So I was supposed to meet someone here in this place, but they didn't show up. So I figured I would catch up with you a little bit because it's been a while since I did a live. Hope you don't mind if I eat, because I'm gonna do it anyway. I want to say something sad. I had a friend. His name was Kyle, and Kyle Waters, really wonderful, wonderful guy. And he had a girlfriend named Gina. I'm not going to mention her last name. It doesn't matter. So, you see, Kyle and Gina, they both struggled with addiction. But they were beautiful, wonderful people. They trained in my jiu-jitsu school. They worked hard. They tried to get off these drugs. They really tried hard. You know, many good people get addicted. And he didn't make it through that struggle. He passed away. So I once had a fire in the basement of my jiu-jitsu school where I had some animals and some reptiles. And there was some damage. All the animals were okay, but he helped to rebuild it for nothing. And once he felt one of my tortoises didn't have enough space. He had a lot of space, but he felt that he should have like tons of space, as if he were outside. And he built something wonderful. He bought all the wood himself. He did everything. You know, I had to force money on him. And he was just such a good guy. Alright, so we lost him. And then a couple of days ago, like 2 days ago, she died. You know, she was struggling without him. I don't know all the details. And what I do know, I don't want to really get into close to the family. But it's a terrible loss to the reptile community because they were amazingly good keepers. Amazingly kind people. They would go to pet shops, and when they saw reptiles that weren't cared for properly, they would actively do things. You know, they would bring food, they would volunteer to clean. Sometimes they would take animals home if they felt it was sort of a hopeless situation. They felt it wasn't the animal's fault and it was worth patronizing the place to make things right, you know. So I just want to recognize that. As to what's been going on with me lately, I've been posting some new things. And before I mention what they are, you know, there's been confusion. And of course, these crazy accusations from all the bad people, all the stupid people who don't have the courage to just ask me what's up. So they invent stuff. Some think I'm traveling in space and time apparently, because they'll see me in one place and then another, and they'll say, he moves, or something, like it's an old video. Well, first, if I want to post an old video for new people, there's nothing wrong with that. I just haven't been doing it because there's so many new people that, you know, want to see new things. But sometimes I'll post an old video. I don't see anything that's detrimental to anyone about that, and if you don't like it, you just pass on to the next one. But part of the confusion is that, you know, if you're just tuning in, I'm sorry I'm meeting, but I'm supposed to meet somebody here, and they couldn't come, unfortunately. They had their own little tragedy, so, you know, I don't like eating alone, so I thought maybe you'd join me. So anyway, with me, I've been restocking on venomous. Got a bunch of rattlesnakes, a couple of cobras. There's something very cool, something very special coming in. And then there's some things that, you know, not that they're not special, but they're not as exciting coming in. Guessable things, actually. And then, just to get back for a second, so, I don't know, what do I have? Like 8 places, right? And we go from place to place. We go from 4 places, from place to place. You know, there might be 5 soon, and there's one we wind up going to sometimes because the people we rent it to never like it, and they always break the lease, to be honest. But so if you see me in different places, there were times when I rented, but there's something called the option to buy, so we bought them, then we rent them out, right? To like half. But there are reasons why we keep the other ones. So I really wish people would just ask me instead of accusing me of really weird things. I think there's one guy who genuinely thinks I travel in time, some nut. But it's just that. Now, swaggers. I haven't posted swaggers in a long time. So of course, the stupid people, they decided that he was killed. I don't want to really get into them. Some of the things are just crazy. He was stabbed. He was mauled by a bear. A bobcat got him. All sorts of craziness. One guy said a cop adopted him. They think he was stolen from the house. Some of them. The reality is, he was missing. He was missing, and I posted it, but it was a very long time ago. And I got him back many, many months ago, but I didn't post it because the weather was really nice. You see, there are a lot of people that were just, "What's up, NFL?" There were a lot of crazy people. They kept stopping by. They didn't call in advance. They didn't talk to me. A lot of these people I never met in my life. Like a good 35, 40% of them. And, they felt like they had the right just to walk onto my property. And, he has an outdoor enclosure, especially this one place that we still have in North Carolina. We got 3 there, soon to be 4. And so, they're taking selfies and videos of the place where we live, not just the enclosure. And they were bothering him. Servals don't like to be around a lot of people. They bond with one person, maybe 2. That's it. And they certainly like crowds. They hate crowds. And he doesn't like tall people because they always want to be in the highest spot so they could see their prey. But more importantly, avoid predators. So that's the story with swaggers. I have to be very cautious about telling people where he lives. I don't mean here. I would never do that. But in people that I know in person, or more importantly, the ones I don't know. Next thing, the Netflix thing. So, the venomous, what they call community. I don't think it's a community. I think it's just a gang of fools. They have decided that I'm making a Netflix special with the producer. His last name is Good, something Good, of the Tiger King and the Chimp Crazy movie, which they just decided. The reality is, I've been contacted by something that's well beyond that. That includes several, what do you call them? Hulu, Netflix. There's a bunch of different ones, but we're in the process of negotiating. But these venomous, whatever they are, they're not handlers, keepers. They've decided that I signed a contract already, and they think there's going to be a Jeff show. They just make things up. It's kind of funny. What kills me is that when you make a petition against me and you send it to Netflix, first of all, I can't wait to see that guy's face. The guy who's not planning on doing anything, at Netflix. He would have no idea what they're talking about. But more importantly, if you have a petition saying don't make this documentary, what do you think they're going to do? Not make it? Do you think they care if you like me? Or do you think they care about money? Do you think they want to see people? Do you think they want people to watch it? Or that they care if you watch it and protest against it? So, I've been posting their petition myself and getting my friends to because it's a good thing. It stimulates interest. It's a silly thing, but the guy who's getting it has nothing to do with anything. The producer is a very well-known person. There's actually producers that have made famous movies. So, right now we're just in the process of negotiation. I need French fries. You want a French fry? Want a French fry? Look at that, crispy and wonderful. So, hey, Maddie. Is that Maddie the DJ? So, French fries, yes. If I could, I would. George, how have you been? You off dialysis? I'm fully recovered. Did you get stood up in an Arby's? Yes, I did. I was supposed to meet someone and he had a little tragedy. I still have this thing. You can see it. It's a port in my chest. It goes to my heart. And so when you have dialysis, they connect you to the dialysis machine. They take your blood out, they clean it, and they put it back alive for 4 hours. So I didn't react very well to that. And my blood pressure would go down substantially to the point where I would often pass out, get very, very dizzy and nauseous. It was just terrible. So that's over. I don't have to do that ever again. And I saw the nephrologist recently, so he said he's going to make me an appointment so I could take this out. Just the thought that this thing is here makes me nauseous. It's so gross. Thank you, George. Is that George Manoli? Oh, my glasses. Looper. Sorry if I'm mispronouncing a painter. How are you feeling? Health problems still going on. I feel good. I have some injuries just from jiu-jitsu. But, it's hard to do jiu-jitsu properly when you're, you got to worry so much about someone touching this. Because if it were to get ripped, you would bleed to death. What's up, BK? How you doing? Let's see what Larry's got to say. I wanted the truth out here. Well, I asked for an interview. Did you block me? I have no idea who you are, man. I get asked for interviews every day. One of the bad guys? I don't know if you're a bad guy. I just don't know who you are. But I don't want to do interviews. I'm also under contracts. Almost. And they've asked me just to be careful in the meantime. Just to follow from Europe. Oh, nice. I was actually born in Europe. Where about? I was born in a place called Moron, which is in Sevilla, which is in Andalusia in southern Spain. American military base, but went to school in Spain. I saw you posting this snake, and you're getting new snakes with old videos. Here's the thing. I was explaining this before. They're not old videos. Most of them. Every once in a while I will post an old video because there's so many new followers. But the places that you see that are the older places, the only thing is that, we still own them. So there were times when, in some of them we rented and stayed there. For the most part, that's what we do. And then we would get, we had the option to buy, which I try to always get. Then we would buy them and rent it out ourselves. So, you'll see several different places. You'll see that forever. And you're going to see more new places. So, I'm sorry that confused people, but that's really all it is. And it's good to go, to get out of your neighborhood, and to go somewhere that's just different. I also think it's good for swaggers. He doesn't, he really doesn't like a certain place. This trail that we have in North Carolina. I don't know, he gets mad at me when I take him there. But once he finds his ball, it doesn't like if I give it to him. Once he finds his ball, then suddenly he's happy. I'm happy you're still with us. Well, I'm happy to be here. It's good to be alive. Yeah. And as far as the passion, it's so good. It's so good to get back to it. Are you back to work teaching students? I took a leave from my job because they needed someone in the classroom, and the substitutes, they don't specialize. So I teach Spanish, but there was no way, being on dialysis and being half dead. I was sick. You can't imagine how bad I was. I was foaming at the mouth, bleeding out of every hole in my body, every hole. And that includes what you're thinking, and my eyes, nose, ears, because the inland taipan doesn't just have neurotoxic venom, it also has hemotoxic venom. And a bunch of myotoxics, it's just bad. So I was having convulsions, and I'm getting calls from people. And this is from overseas too. Let's just stay. And the kidneys shut down totally. Just foaming at the mouth for a long time. I was intubated. I was on a respirator for days, completely unconscious. And I didn't know that. I thought I was on the respirator for an hour. I had no idea it was for days. And Loper, there's agony. There's just agony that comes with this. Not at the bite. You can't even see the bite. It's on my knuckle right here. You can't even see it. It's an unimpressive bite. Thank you for the prayers. But it is also this smell of like urine that you taste, and it's in your nose, and you just vomit completely. There's a lot of other things, especially hallucinations. I was hallucinating for weeks, and some of the things you see and hear are truly disturbing. I guess that depends on your mind. I'm surprised mine is so messed up. Sort of. Ed, what's up? Ed, I don't have my glasses, I'm sorry. I can't see your last name. Will you free handle? Absolutely. And I've been free handling, and for those who keep asking me if I'm apprehensive about it now after what happened, not even a little bit, and I do have the video of the bite. If you watch the video, you'll see I knew it was going to happen. I don't care that people disagree because they don't free handle. They don't use their hands. They have no idea what it means to really handle. They're not in my hobby. So I had it low where they can turn and reach you. And I was saying, you could hear me saying, I'm not high enough. I'm not high enough. Once you are high enough, they can turn. A little bit like cobras. And so I couldn't get there. Maybe because I had the camera, which was something was part of the mistake. But I just couldn't. Maybe it was arthritis. I'm injured in the arm. I don't know exactly. But I couldn't get my hand back up with the one hand. I just couldn't do it. I should have thrown the phone down or something. But I thought I'd make it. And that was the mistake. And I said, it knows it can bite me, or something to that effect. And it did. So, at that point, nothing happened. The worst bite imaginable. Absolutely. Are you gonna post the video? How am I supposed to show you swaggers and Arby's? What I owe you? I don't owe you anything. You owe me. I post content for you. You owe me. Let me get rid of this guy. It pisses me off. Show me swaggers and hobbies. What the hell? Anyway, you know what? All these jackasses that come on and say I shouldn't have venomous anymore, a lot of them are breeders. Almost without exception, they send me DMs asking to sell me snakes. And I wish I had the lack of integrity to post them, but I don't. And I'm not sure the best content would be to bite. You should post it or get many views. I don't care about views. You know, views don't make you money, and likes don't make you money. That's one of the most fundamental misunderstandings of at least YouTube. I don't know how it is on Facebook or, you know, Snapchat or TikTok or whatever. I'm starting to do that a little bit, but it's certainly not the case with YouTube. YouTube cares about the viewer, not the creator. So what they want is for you to have something that hooks them, that leads them to the next video. That's what they care about more than anything, and watch time. YouTube is hard, man. YouTube is no joke. It's hard. You know, I'm not good at it either, so there's that. Why haven't the best content would be the why haven't you posted it though? You said you have from video. Why not post it? One, I haven't felt like getting a whole barrage of people telling me, you know, well, essentially implicitly that they want to see me get hurt. So there was such a barrage, it's a deluge of negative things. Even today, there's hundreds of comments of people wanting me to die, and there's several hundred more from people, mostly private, that, you know, express support. So there's a mixture, and they're both very vehement in their views. There's that. I don't owe anyone anything. But secondly, since I'm negotiating with this movie company, you know, we talked about it. We're not on the contract, but I'm saving it because we talked about it, and it's part of what's called a negotiation. You know, and having it is the leverage. Are stiletto snakes elappers? No. What would you say are calmer snakes and easier for you to handle, cobras or vipers? Well, calmer would be certain vipers like gaboons, but for me, cobras. You know, I lived in Thailand for a year, and a teacher who very much influenced me, a really good man. His name was Boon Ryong Pua Cha, and we would do shows 5 times a day for tourists. You might know him. He's the guy that slapped the cobra. You look up cobra selection, you'll see him. And on March 24th in the year 2000, he was bitten by a monocle cobra and he died. And it was terrible because he wouldn't take anti-venom. He started to drink afterward, and he just did the whole thing wrong. I think he would have made it, you know, and he left behind a family and everything else. It was just terrible. And I actually left the country then. So there's that. But, you know, what I'm trying to say is I'm very comfortable with cobras. You know, I understand them in a way that makes me feel very comfortable. Stiletto snakes are hard to handle, but totally possible. You just can't handle them by the neck because they got that sideways, like Wolverine, but from there. And when they kill something, they would, you know, they turn so they can kill several animals at once. That's what sad people would wish that, you know. The people who wish that stuff on other people, yeah, Maddie, I see negative things. I get hundreds of death threats a day, and I post some of them. But you know, you get used to it, and you know it's a little bit time consuming. But you know, it is what it is, and there's probably, you know, 50%, maybe like let's say 45%, just to throw out a number, hate me. Then there's like 55%, I'd say a little bit more, that are very supportive and can't take the haters. Here's the thing with the haters, and they always come up and, like, first of all, they don't care about people. You know, you wish someone to die, they'll say I'm a disgrace to keepers, as if they know how I kept my snakes. Well, they're a disgrace to humanity. Um, Anyone who wishes another person dead with such sincerity, or who would withhold anti-venom, should not be allowed to have a snake that is potentially lethal. They really shouldn't. If you wish someone dead, just imagine the things that they could do. What a terrible idea. And so they asked me, are you trying to destroy the hobby? For you, I am. And when I answer them, then they come back like begging me, oh, please don't, please don't. And I'm telling you, everyone that's a breeder that says, don't sell to me, hit me up. I'm telling you, they hit me up and they ask to sell to me. And at fairly reasonable prices. It's the weirdest thing. It's like, I don't even know what people are. Are they mostly the way they act online or the way they act in person? I can't figure it out. Let's see what else you got. I still see negative. What venomous snake are you going to get next? I ain't telling you, but there's one. Tomorrow, I'm probably picking up two. One you'll think is very cool. You will. Part of me is tempted to give you a hint, but I'm not going to do it. The other one is super cool, like something that you could almost guess. Something that would have made sense 2 months ago, And I'm getting a lot of snakes that sort of look like the ones that I had. That must sound terrible, but they bring me a certain solace, and I'm doing it, and I don't care what anyone thinks. But the one tomorrow, that's gonna be cool. I'm looking forward to that. So stay tuned, and I have a lot more coming. Some are like the ones that I had before, but many are not. So there are big things coming down the road, physically big things coming down the road. And I also have a mammal that's coming that I think you're gonna love. It's coming as a baby, a really young baby that. All I'll tell you, I don't like giving hints. I'll just tell you that it's from a species that, when they're babies, they're just stupid. They don't have to do anything but eat, poop, and pee. That's it. For quite a while. That's all I'm telling you. This message is held for review. Let's see what it says. I think people say those mean things because you were talking shit, saying antivenoms are pussies. That's another thing. Imagine the stupidity of someone who took that seriously. Once I see someone takes that seriously, I'm done with them immediately. Imagine how stupid you are. On my own chat group, right? Which these people, why are they even in my chat group? Like, I'm doing them a favor, letting them in. So I admit them into my group, which was meant to have like 50 people, now has like 51,000. I posted that. It's called a joke. Do I have to explain what a joke is? Do I seem like someone who would write that? Like, do I have to explain why it's a joke? Are people that stupid? It's amazing. So then, in my group, which probably isn't unfortunate as the next day, but who thought anyone would be so stupid as to connect the two? I did say that I need an anti-venom. Kentucky Reptile, whatever they call themselves. No one asked them. They're not in my group. I have no idea who they are. They publicly proclaimed that they weren't sending antivenom. Who cares? The antivenom was already on the way from a different place. And then a guy named Thad Bowman, he saved my life. He was the guy who went, and it was already on its way, but from what I understand, he made it come much, much faster. And it was a team effort, but it's a miracle that I'm alive, a genuine miracle. And even though it was a team effort, the people were, for the most part, doing different jobs. Like, there was a pharmacist who knows everything about venom. I have no idea how or why, but a complete expert. He came by. I was still delirious. I don't remember his name. Um, there were nurses. They gave me fentanyl, and they said, I don't remember this, but they said it to me. They said, "We're giving you fentanyl because we want to be humane as you die." And the nurse told me this very clearly. And she's the nurse that people sort of like. They gave me the nurse that people have when they die. You should hear her stories. The things that people see when they're dying. They reach to grab things that they say are angels, or they say the names of people they love. That all sorts of stories. And she said it's a lot. You also learn a lot about being in intensive care for weeks. You learn about drug dealers. There's so much violence over drugs, and you can't imagine how smart and evil these people are. They sell fentanyl, but not the kind that they give you in the hospital. There's some difference. I don't know the difference, but one difference is they put rat poison in it, things that will kill people, which I don't even get from their perspective, because they would be losing money, right? I mean, I don't get that. Makes me wonder about those two friends I told you about. But I believe them. They have no reason to lie. But it was, the hallucinations were bad. The hallucinations were bad for weeks. Let me just see what you guys are saying. Sorry, I was just talking so much. I like you. I like you too. And not many people took it as a joke. I don't give a fuck. It wasn't a very good joke. I think the majority of people thought you were serious. I don't give a fuck. Like being arrogant. Good. Let them think whatever they want. I don't give a shit. If they don't understand that, they have the IQ of a parsnip. So, people like that don't concern me. And if you take that seriously, you're a fucking idiot. I see it as free speech. Well, my speech is going to be free whether people like it or not. I'm just not concerned what people think. And I feel that anyone who is will lead a very limited life with very limited success and be surrounded by people who don't want to see them fly at all. So, whatever. I wouldn't be handling venomous snakes if I gave it the way I do, if I cared what people think. What do you think of emerald tree boa? I love them. I love them too. I've always wondered why people who love emerald tree boas don't always love the green python. The green tree python. They look a little bit alike, they act a lot alike, but I think the one you're talking about, I think their bite hurts like crazy. I think that's one of the worst non-venomous bites. So, you know how a lot of arboreal snakes are? They can just be dicks. But at the same time, they're just so beautiful. They're just, aesthetically pleasing. That's what many venomous keepers are. They're collectives of living art. They want something that they can look at, contain, house, and hook, but never interact with. My goal is to interact with the snake, to know the snake, to learn about its morphology and so on, to the point where it doesn't feel fear. And I honestly have no fear of snakes. I'm scared of spiders. But then there comes a point when that happens, when there's like a coalescence almost of consciousness, a convergence of something, I don't know what. And that's when you really get to know them. And I can't give that up. And I don't care what people think. I really don't. I see videos of swaggers eating dead chickens, raw chicken on your floor. Does your house smell good? Does your house smell good, you jackass? I'm gonna get rid of you. Now let me answer him. Swaggers eats a whole prey diet. When they're babies, they get this drink. It's called KMR. And then eventually you put turkey into it because they have to slowly be weaned up to solid food. And that solid food should, yeah, some dick. And solid food should be in the form of whole prey. So giving him a chicken, which is from local farmers, I like to support small businesses, or a turkey or a duck. We once gave him a swan, rats, duck heads, things that are just disgusting. Thanks, Steve. How you doing, buddy? It's absolutely necessary. That will keep them healthy. Otherwise, they will die. The chicken sometimes I give him, it has calcium on top because that's fine for him as long as it's not 3 times a day. He could have that once a day as long as it has the supplements and so on. But the rest should be whole prey. And I have a friend in Spain, and she feeds her serval just chicken, and so she has terrible bone density problems, and that's what happens. So you really, here's someone else calling me, and it's her birthday. I'm gonna have to get that in a second. I'll call back. So it's absolutely necessary. And just by the way, regular cats should be eating a whole prey diet. If you don't believe me, just look it up, or go to Rodent Pro or whatever it's called, Cold Blooded Cafe, and all the other ones, Hair Today, HARE, and read what they post, what they're right. You know, I've cross-referenced it with a whole bunch of stuff. Thank you, Steve, and I appreciate that. Got my back. Thanks. I'll have yours too. So, I think I better go and call this woman back because it's her birthday. And I sent her a gift, which wasn't cheap, but I was happy to do it. But it turned out she had gone to another country, and I didn't know that. And so this is the kind of a gift that's perishable. So it had all sorts of decorative stuff and stuff you can eat. So I'm hoping that someone eats it. All right, guys. Thank you for tuning in. I appreciate you. And sorry there were some trolls here. There's always some idiots. You guys have a nice night. I'll try to check in, whenever and show you the new stuff. And hope that clarified some things. But just really quick, remember, these people who are asking me, are you trying to destroy the hobby single-handedly? The ones that say, I hope you die, I hope you do. For you, I am. For you, I am. And it would be very easy, too. Anyone that's threatening death to someone else doesn't have the temperament to keep a deadly animal. Death, deadly, they can go together. No, that's not the temperament for someone that has an animal that can be lethal. They should not be allowed to have snakes. And I'm not saying that as vengeance. I genuinely feel that way. Anyway, take care, everybody. Bye. Yes, Steve, George, Matty. Take care, guys. If I can figure out how to get out of here.